Okay, we're going to take our last video, which was the class example using Apple underscore MC to create an Apple on the stage at runtime, a little bit further now into the realms of customization. You'll be able to see from this a few more possibilities. Okay, so this is going to have us editing the class file itself. Where we do that is we go to the library, right click on the asset that we want to do, and then click edit class. So in this case I've chosen Apple. Okay, and I'd like that to be open. Now I need to save this, and it should default to the class name, so Apple there, and save. Before I move on, I'm going to need to edit my Apple symbol. So in the library, just double click on that, bring it up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the fill into a symbol, and convert symbol. It's going to be a movie clip again, and this is going to be called color. Let's call it Apple color, so I know what it relates to. Okay, and then I need to give it an instance name. So in properties, having selected that, I'm just going to call that underscore swatch. So that's the color swatch for this. Okay, so I'll just save that. That's scene 1. Let's test at this point. It shouldn't have changed anything. Nothing's changed. And now we're going to work in the Apple class file. And what we want to do is listen for a parameter, and that's kind of a property or an instruction that we're going to affect upon this. So I'm going to give that a name, and in this case I'll call it col, short for colour, and the data type will be what's known as UINT, an unsigned integer, which we're going to use to keep a colour, a number which represents a colour anyway. Okay, and then inside of the constructor code I'm going to link that up to the swatch. What it means is we're going to need to call upon some of Flash's existing classes, in particular colour transform. So I'm going to go for the var my CT, which is going to stand for my colour transform, and I'm going to look for colour transform, and you'll notice that everything's spelt using American English, so colour is spelt incorrectly as far as we might be concerned, but that can be quite useful to our advantage because we can use meaningful instance names such as colour in the English spelling. Okay, and that's going to equal a new colour transform, which will come up to the top. There we go. And then we will speak to that similarly to how we speak to our movie clips. So myCT dot should bring up a list of methods and properties that we might want to invoke or change. In this case, we're going to go for colour, and it's going to equal col. So we're pulling this straight from this point here down to here, and then we need to affect that change. So we will then choose, in this case, Apple underscore MC. Sorry, don't need to talk to that. This dot underscore swatch. So this dot underscore swatch, and then dot, and then we're going to put colour transform, but rather than this being the class, this is a method. It's very confusing because it's actually colour transform with a small c. Might just need to. Sorry, I need to change that. Transform, and then color transform, which should show up from my drop-down menu. And then equals my CT, so my color transform, and that should allow us, when we test it, first off, it should throw an error because I weren't passed the variable as a parameter. So you'll notice here, get a compiler error. So I'm just going to go into the class example one where I've asked for this to happen. Timeline, my actions. Just double click there. Okay, so new apple. I'm now going to add a colour to that, and we do that with not x. That's an x, not an asterisk, and then we'll give it a colour. Okay, and this would be an RGB using hexadecimal. So if we want it to be a red apple, then that would be FF, the highest value for red, 0000 for green and blue. Now hopefully if we test that again, we have a red apple. And if I go back and change the colour of that, maybe something a little bit more exotic. Test that again. There we go. A slightly pink apple. Almost looks like a cherry. Okay, and that's the end of this example.